everyone, and welcome to another episode of a book discussion on Humans of PHARMA. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to someone whose passion for patient-centric healthcare is truly inspiring. Please join me in welcoming Donahue, a powerhouse in our pharma industry and the Chief Mission Officer of Excellerate. Ms. Jill's journey is surely one of the dedication, innovation, and unwavering commitment to making a difference. In her latest book, A Dose of Inspiration, she shares insights gathered from her years of experience and research, offering a roadmap for success in the pharmaceutical world. So grab a copy of Dose of Inspiration and today let her wisdom guide us on a transformative journey towards meaningful impact and fulfillment in our career and beyond. For another 30 minutes, get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered to make a difference. And with that, thank you, Ms. Dill, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to chat today, Shazia. Appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. Let's get this conversation started. Here I go with my first question. What inspired you to focus on influence and persuasion in healthcare, and how did passion develop over time?
Okay. What inspired me to focus on influence and persuasion? Well, when I joined the industry many years ago, I came in with a bit different background. My background, you see, was in psychology. And what I noticed when I looked around me in the industry was the people around me were really, really strong in the life sciences. That arm was good, right? We had the data, we had the science, we were strong with that. But the other side of the equation, the behavioral sciences, that arm was a little weaker. How we communicate, how we engage ourselves and communicate to engage the people around us, I felt that muscle was a little weaker and we could improve that. And I imagined, what if both arms were strong? Imagine the push-ups that we could do. So that inspired me to study how to influence healthcare behavior change from the beginning. And then that passion got quite a bit deeper when I was 35. My father died as a result of a prescribing error. And that really solidified for me that we've got to figure this out, because I kept imagining, what if my dad's doctors, medical science liaison, their MSL or their CAM or their rep or whatever you call them, what if that pharma person, that pharma professional had been better able to access and engage my father's doctor to know the right product at the right time for the right patient. So that really fueled my desire to figure out influence and ethical persuasion in the industry.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Yeah.
many of our listeners also can relate to the desire to make a difference
Yes.
in healthcare. I think everyone has the story, and this is very touching.
Yes.
Second, reflecting on your journey, what role has mentorship played in shaping your career, both personally and professionally?
Mentorship. Good question. I think it is so important to learn from other people, whether it's formal mentorship. I remember one of my early mentors encouraged me to read everything I could. And that was one of the best pieces of advice I ever had, because then I had all these informal mentors. So I know there's a formal definition of mentor versus advisor versus coach, etc. But I consider all these authors on my bookshelves as informal mentors. So I just love learning from people, whether they're aware of it or not, but taking advice from people who have gone before us, or even people who are on the path with us. I see mentors all around me. So yeah, learning from everyone that you cross paths with is how I see it.
And obviously, mentorship truly is invaluable, really. Uh, Moving on, could you please tell us more about the power of purpose and how it impacts the performance and engagement of medical science license in the pharma industry?
Mm, sure. So for people listening, what is the power of purpose? Well, um, when I first started teaching pharma people how to influence behavior change, I was teaching the adult education, the 5 steps of behavior change, and how to identify where the physician is and how to move the physician forward. And then I realized, there's something missing. There's a foundation that is absolutely essential. And that is being purpose-driven, being focused on the patient. I've been talking about patient centricity since before it was a term. And it's this mindset, this attitude that will enable you to engage and do the right thing, say the right thing. So I went to the literature to figure out, how do I teach purpose, right? Is it passion? What is it? Is it just there? And luckily, there was an explosion in the literature right when I was pondering this. And I was so excited about what I was learning. I took all that literature, started interviewing the authors, and created a program called The Power of Purpose. And over the years, we've perfected this recipe. It's now a small journey we take people on, really. And MSLs and others will say it's transformational for them. So it helps them see themselves and their role completely differently, such that they feel like they have the power of purpose, literally, right? So it helps them connect with why they are in pharma. So sometimes MSLs especially feel like, people will say, you've gone to the dark side, you left practice or you left academia. And we help them see that, oh my gosh, that's so not true at all, and help them reconnect with why did you go into healthcare in the first place, or science, or why did you choose a pharma company? And immediately people think of, well, the lifestyle, my family, and what we help them see is there's power in your purpose, not just to serve your family, but in your role, right? We're all lucky because all of our organizations have these noble purposes, right? To save and improve lives. But what does that mean to you in your specific role? Like you, Shazia, you have an amazing, like the things that you're doing, the impact, the ripple effect that you're having. I would love to hear from you too. Why do you care? Why do you do these interviews? Where does that come from you? What was the seed in your life that said, you should help people in this way? Purpose comes from serving others, really. Whether, we all serve our families, yes. And we have the opportunity at work to serve the people around us, who help other people around us, who help other people, who eventually help the patient, right? Very few of us touch the patient, but we're all serving and helping. And that comes from somewhere. So anyway, back to the power of purpose. We help people through that journey connect with their story, articulate it, share it with their peers, share it with their customers, and identify what you need to do to truly live that purpose. What needs to change in your work to do better, to be more engaging, to love your work and be better at it. So that was a long answer. Does that?
Sounds like a game changer. So no, definitely not it's a much needed one. And it's incredible how a sense of purpose can transform performance and even
Mhm.
engagement. So it's really nice to know about that.
Well, and
Another
it's not,
one,
it doesn't just, you said it can transform, and it's not just, by the way, me saying this, but there is tons of evidence in the literature that this is the most effective way to engage people, to get better results. The most successful teams and companies work to create a culture of purpose. It's not something you can just say to people to have, but it's something that you need to cultivate, to work on. It takes effort, but it's worth it. The evidence is very strong. So.
yes, and surely many professionals will benefit from this program. Another one, can you share significant childhood memory or experience that influenced your career path in pharma industry? Although you have summed up in your earlier answers, but still, any
Yeah.
childhood memory.
Yeah, my career path, um, getting into the industry, you might look back and say was happenstance. My friend was a rep. and she had a free car, and they were talking about putting phones in cars, and I thought I was going to be so cool. But when I look at, the influence that brought me there, I look back further and I think, my parents were both teachers, so education was really important to me. My father had a heart attack when I was in high school, so healthcare became very interesting to me. And plus, my parents were very much servant leaders. They taught me the importance of helping others. They were teachers, beloved teachers who, would bring home stray students like stray kittens, it, I learned that we help people. So it made a lot of sense. When I went out there on the road as a rep, I wasn't thinking about selling my product as much as I was thinking about how do I help these doctors help these patients? And that's why I started winning awards, etc. But it was a different approach than what was going on at the time, because that was in the 90s, I dare say, and there was a very different approach to sales then. But that approach really was the foundation of what I teach now. And then, as I told you, when Dad died, and then I left pharma 2 years after that. That was the biggest impact in my career path for sure. And in between, there were lots of mergers and acquisitions that were big bumps in the road too, as far as influences on my career. Is that what you're looking
Yeah,
for there? Yeah.
yes. And as you already have spoken about the challenges, can you share any challenging moment or setbacks you faced while you're doing all of these things in your career, and how did you overcome that?
Mm. Setbacks in my career. I guess I'd go back to mergers, acquisitions, downsizing, right sizing. I think everyone listening can relate to those challenges. And I remember at one point feeling like I, I've climbed this mountain, right? In this team, we climb this mountain. We finally get to a place where we all are gelling, things are working, we're making an impact, and then you slide down. And I remember at one point thinking, I'm tired of packing that knapsack, that backpack. I'm tired of the climb. And that's when you need to reach out to the people around you. You need to share mental health, well-being, so important to recharge, to refuel, and with purpose to go back to what is it that you're trying to do, right? What is the outcome here? And that provided a source of fuel when you're thinking you're too tired to pack that backpack one more time. Go back to your why. Where does this come from for you? And fuel yourself with that strength.
And obviously, it has been said that resilience is truly admirable for you. I think so. That is true. uh,
Resilience is key.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And you have proven that. Yeah. Uh, so this one is surely what everyone has asked you, but I'm asking you again. What inspired you to write Dose of Inspiration? And what message
Mm,
or insights do you hope readers will take away from it?
yeah. Okay. So it really was around the kitchen table. So what happened was, as I was taking students through the Power of Purpose journey, we would have a group share. And that's where they come together and they share their stories. And it's so powerful and so rewarding. And I would go into my kitchen at the end of these group shares and share with my family, you won't believe this story. And through tears, I would tell them, and it was so inspirational. And then I thought, this is crazy that it's ending at my kitchen table. Right? I have to get this out further. So I had this idea of a book, right? I love books. And why not capture those stories in a book? And then I didn't want the book to be just the clients I work with, right? Or just the departments that I was working with at the time. I thought that I didn't want people to read it and say, oh, you have to work for this company or that company to have purpose. So then I thought, well, I'll try to get people from every department, from as many companies and countries as I can. And so it just spread. So over 2 years, you can see all the stories here. We put together 100 stories, 50 women, 50 men, and 100 stories from people around the world, from different departments and different organizations. And of course, it would be free. So it's a free download for anyone who's listening, and it's really meant to be a dose of inspiration. I don't have any false hopes that people are going to read this and all of a sudden, be connected to but it's a spark, it's a dose, it's a piece of it, right? I think our journey to being purpose driven is ongoing, and we need fuel constantly. So this is just a little bit of fuel for people who might need a little dose of inspiration. So that's exactly what it is. And that's how it came about, was my kitchen table.
And definitely your passion for empowering others shines through in your writing and through your words as well. I'm sure readers will walk away with valuable insights and, a renewed sense of purpose with this. And you rightly said, it never happens with one go. It does take efforts, but yes, it is much needed, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So another thing is, in your opinion, what are the most pressing issues facing the pharmaceutical industry today, and how do you believe they can be addressed?
Mm, there are so many pressing issues facing the industry. Um, I think about our transition to prevention, right? And our need to collaborate. And that leads to me to what I've been working on and I believe is the most important. And that's what I've spent my life working on. And that is on the trust issue, our reputation. Um, Without trust, uh, we can't do anything, right? Without trust, people won't listen to us. And that is a problem. And, we've done some things that have caused that distrust. There's also places that we don't deserve that, but we need to um, stand up and own it and root ourselves in our purpose to gain that trust. And I think when we approach someone, and it begins, people say, well, that's too big. That's the industry has a trust problem. And I say, no, no, no. It starts with you and me and the people that we connect with. And when we connect with someone, it's not enough for us to just say, yes, everything we do is about improving patient lives. That's not enough, because they'll be like, yeah, sure it is. Right? That mission statement all over our website is not enough. We have to show them in our words and actions that that's what we mean as well, through our transparency, through our honesty. And I think it starts with, I have people who we encourage them, following the power of purpose, to share their stories at the front end of a presentation, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation or just a meeting. And they say everything changes. When I open with, before I get started, I think it's important for me to share with you why I'm here and what my intentions are. You see, my story is, and then just a 3-sentence version of why they care. And then everything changes. They say, I've had reps say, the doctor took his hand off the doorknob and sat back down. I never knew what blue eyes he had, right? He looked at me for the first time. Or presenters, trainers will say, someone wrote in the chat box, oh my gosh, we're 1 minute in and I'm already excited. And she said, everyone kept their cameras on. There was more conversation. There was more trust. The audience trusted that the trainer cared about them, right? So this is inside the organization. Outside, another person said she shared her story at the beginning of a meeting with external suppliers. And she said it was silent right after she shared her story. And then someone said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about working with you. Right? I've never heard an introduction like that. I had another chief medical officer who dared to share his story to build that trust. He had a new team. It was during COVID. They were all virtual. He couldn't see anyone. He dared to share a story, and his story is in our book, Kevin Williams. And he dared to share his story, and he said, I had no idea. It was, I couldn't see anyone's faces. I put it out there. I felt vulnerable. Yeah. But I put it out there. He said, and then we hung up we ended the meeting. The emails started flooding in. Kevin, thank you for sharing. I'm so excited to be part of your team. Like, it was just amazing. It's incredible. Emails, people trying to write to book meetings with doctors, sending an email, I'll be in your area. We've taken that email, which gets no response, and put your purpose in it, which changes the language of the email. But guess what? People now trust you. They want to meet with you. So I think we can change individually, each one of us, with the circle around us, whether it's your neighbor, right? Oh, I had a CEO who said, I'm just dreading the cottage because every summer my friend comes up who is really opposed to pharma. He says, but now I'm ready. He said, I'm ready to share with him my purpose, right? And build that trust back. So that's one of the biggest problems I think that we have is building back that reputation. I just want to encourage everyone to say each one of us can do something about that by connecting with your purpose and sharing it with others to build that trust because you are pharma to anyone in your world. So it can start with you.
Exactly, and somehow you said it the right way. I think trust is maybe a five-letter word, but greater impact it has. So yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Again, as someone who's deeply invested in empowering pharma professionals, how do you envision your book influencing readers' perspective and actions in their professional life as well as personal life? How do you see that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the beginning? How do I see what?
That how do you envision about your book influencing readers' perspective and actions, both in personal and professional life?
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I hope that the book will inspire people at any stage of their journey. So whether they're feeling frustrated, whether they're questioning whether they did the right thing coming to pharma, I hope it'll help them say, oh, yes, I did. Or for other people who are very purpose driven, I hope it'll fuel that purpose for them to help them reconnect with it. I hope people will pass it around to share it. People have said that they have chosen it as reading one story a day, right? We all need habits. Our habits of today define our tomorrow. So what is your habit daily to fuel your purpose? So maybe the book will become part of that habit to read a story a day, for example. Maybe the book will inspire. I also have some pre and post stories, some information in there that hopefully will help people figure out how to make fueling their purpose part of their habit, part of their routine.
Great one here, and this sounds like I should add that book in my daily routine now.
Yeah, good. Excellent.
Okay, turning the focus on the next question. Have there been any surprising or unexpected responses or reactions from readers of Dose of Inspiration or your earlier books that have resonated with you emotionally or anyway? How it happened?
Yeah. I would love to hear more responses. I've had some interesting, for example, there was a pharmacy student who reached out who said, I'd never thought of a career in pharma. And I don't even know how he got the book, but that's great. So now he's thinking of a career in pharma and he wanted to meet with me to chat about that. So that was kind of fun, a pharmacy student. And then, there was a reaction from someone in the book which I was surprised about. He had never shared his story with his family and he was nervous about doing so. And then he shared with me how great it went afterwards. I've had other people in the book. Someone just wrote me last week before the weekend to say she was on her way home with the book and couldn't wait to share it with her parents because her particular story attributed her desire to serve others to some things that her parents had done. So she was super excited about that. So I guess that's one of the loveliest surprises is the number of times I'm hearing people talk about how meaningful it was to their family. Interestingly, so many of us struggle to explain what we do to our family members. So that has been a really nice surprise out of this, that it's helping people build connections in their families as well as their work. So I love that because I really think the two are inextricably connected, right? Your personal life and your work life, it's so connected. So yeah, those are a few of the surprises.
Must be incredibly rewarding for you, and surely it's a testament to impact of your work. I Yeah.
It is
Uh,
so rewarding. You're so right. I say to people, I would do this on Friday night. Like I just love it. Yeah.
Great. Finally, my last question. What advice would you offer to aspiring authors or individuals who are working in the pharma company, looking to share their insights and experiences through writing, particularly within healthcare and pharma industry?
Oh, okay. People who are interested in writing. Um, hmm. Right. If you're interested in publishing something, eventually start writing. And there are so many places that you can publish. So contribute. So start with the easiest place that you can write is to do an article in your LinkedIn, right? Do a post. That's the very beginning. Then submit it. Look at, what are the journals that you look to? What are the where are the places that you learn from? Submit to them. So if you're in training, maybe it's L10. If you're in MSL, maybe it's MAPS or maybe Pharma Academy, right? Look and see who is accepting articles. Start contributing. Um, yeah, and then see where you want to go. The importance is sometimes when people are writing, they think, well, I'll do this quietly, and then when I'm all done, I'll share it. But no, you need to share right from the beginning because you need to see people's reactions. So, one of my mentors, who's an author, he has reading dummies, he calls them reading dummies. So he will read his chapters to people as he's writing his book. He's one of Canada's best-selling authors, and this is his strategy. So what he does, and I was one of his reading dummies, actually. And he said, so he would be listening for when I would laugh, when I'd be confused, when I wasn't engaged, and that would help him then adjust that chapter. So share your writing as much as possible and do it. Like do it as small, start small and see where you go.
And with that, this advice is really invaluable because smaller the impact, but it is an impact.
Yes,
Even if it's
exactly.
small. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. With
Just keep
that,
sharing.
yeah, exactly. Uh, with this, I think I'm done with the questions, and thank you so much for giving us the time. Though it already has 5 stars, wishing you and the book more success, Ms. Dill. And now, with the ending note, I say this every time, but yes, for everyone who is watching, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Reach out if you have any suggestions for future episodes by connecting with us on LinkedIn and other social media channels of Mr. Pharma. Until then, bye bye.